Welcome back to UI. Today on the pod, I'm honored to have a content creator and influencer with 50K followers on Twitter, 84K on TikTok, 25K on Instagram. It is one half of FanDuel's Unsportsmanlike Conduct podcast and one of the largest personalities in Cleveland sports, and not to mention one of my favorite Twitter followers, Gabb Goudy. Thanks for stopping by. Or Goudy, my bad.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today.
No problem. So I saw you were just in Baltimore
Yes,
for the Guardian series. How was the whole experience with Camden Yards?
Loved it. It was the best ballpark I've ever been to. And I'm not even just like being dramatic. Like, it literally was so much fun. The food was so good. The drinks were good. The people were nice. I have no complaints about that place. Everything was awesome.
It's so funny you say that because I have so many friends that go to that ballpark and like you have to stop. Like if you don't visit any other ballpark relative like to where you are, you have to go to Camden Yards. It's fantastic. But
Yeah, it was like I can't even complain about one single thing. I don't think.
really,
Everything was awesome.
I saw those crazy like oysters that you had on your story. Like that looked wild. I doesn't look like ballpark food, but it looked.
No, it's definitely not a ballpark food, but we still got it.
Yeah,
I feel like we just had to for the experience.
Absolutely. It looked crazy. It looked crazy. But was there like another city that you ever went to? Because you get to travel a fair amount for what you do. And is there like another city that really kind of stole your heart when you went there that you weren't expecting? That was like, wow, I really really like this place. I wasn't expecting it.
I mean, like, everywhere I go, I have a good time. Like, I have no complaints really when I go anywhere. Kansas City was really fun.
Really
Yeah, Kansas City was a good time.
great sports town. Great sports town.
I went for the Browns playoff game there, and it was awesome.
Oh,
They lost, but like it was still
should have been a penalty in my opinion.
right.
In my opinion. But I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm not gonna get too fired up about it. You know, we talked briefly just before I hit the record button about the whole Bethany thing. I think it's funny, right? Because the first guest I ever had on was Dave Sims. He's a Bethany
Oh, yeah.
he's a Bethany alumni, and it's funny because everybody says the same thing. Like originally, like Bethany's cool and stuff. It taught me a lot, but I couldn't wait to like start something new as
Doing other things somewhere else.
yeah. And I just think it's funny. I feel bad for Dan. He's the second guy I had on. 2 out of 3 are Bethany alumni, and I texted him today. I'm like, listen, man, it's nothing against you. I was like, this isn't a theme. It just so happens that
This is what it is.
it just is what it is. But I saw. I'd be remiss to not talk about it because I really find it funny because you're very quick witty on Twitter with some of your replies. You have a biochemistry degree.
I do.
I
went to school for biochemistry. I went to school for biochemistry because I thought I was going to be a doctor.
Mhm.
And I realized I don't like blood.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch anybody.
Yeah.
So then I went to Chatham.
Okay.
for
Yeah.
Sustainability and green chemistry. I worked in a lab for like a year and a half. And then
Mhm.
I just started working in sports on accident.
So how does that happen? Because somebody doesn't really just go from having a biochemistry degree, which is extremely difficult to do, to hey, now I have a great following on Twitter and social media. I have a great podcast that's sponsored by a huge company. How does that happen? Fill in the gap for me.
So I literally just started posting stuff. I never would post on Twitter. I took a photo of Odell, the very first like orange and brown scrimmage when they were playing against each other when he was standing on the sideline. And I said things I'll never get tired of seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And people started like following me from that. He retweeted it.
Yeah, you went from like 400 to 4K, I think, after that
he,
tweet.
He retweeted it.
Yeah.
Said, you know what? I owe that man my life. And then that's really it. I just started posting more stuff. My friends were like, you say funny stuff about sports, just put it on there. Who cares? People started reaching out like, hey, have you ever thought about doing this as a job? And I said,
No.
No, I literally sit in a lab all day. So no, I haven't thought about it. And then I started doing some stuff like part-time, and now I'm just doing it every day.
Great.
Awesome.
Things work in mysterious ways.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have some really, really, really big Twitter followers. Like there are like the two in particular that I want to talk about because like
Oh gosh, which ones are they?
oh god. Okay. So I don't know what your relationship is with these people. There's just two that stood out to me because they're big from what I want to do. One is Kenny, KOT4Q. I don't know how that
I don't know
that
why he
hap-
follows me either.
Oh, fair
I
enough.
don't really
Fair
know
enough.
either.
I don't know.
He's replied to some of my stuff sometimes, but that's really it. Like we talked about the Cavs once. He's awesome.
Mhm.
Really, really awesome.
Yeah, I love all of what Kenny does. He had a really quick come up too, kind of like you. Like he went from like he's been grinding on YouTube for a while, but he really had a quick come up last year. with his podcast and everything.
He's really doing it.
Another one that I find really interesting is Joy Taylor.
Oh, I love Joy.
I love Joy too. I love everything that she does on Fox Sports Radio. And then obviously she does the Her with Colin Cowherd. But have you ever got a chance to talk to her? Because she's somebody that I find really, really interesting in the space.
Yeah, she is amazing. Like, she is like the blueprint for what I want to do, and she is just a kick-ass woman. Like, she's so awesome at everything she does. I've only spoken to her like very briefly a few times. I was on her radio show.
Really?
Like 2 months ago. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was really cool. I was really nervous. I was really, really, really nervous, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I love Joy Taylor. She's awesome. So you talk about, you talked about the Odell tweet, and I'm sure there's a few others. You were the originator of the Sons and Four guy, right? Was that you?
Yeah, I was.
So
I created a monster.
You did?
He's cool.
He unfollowed you. Didn't he unfollow you?
Yeah, he followed me back eventually.
Oh, he did? Okay, I didn't see that. That tweet went insane, like ridiculous.
Yeah, that was wild.
So I remember I was following you before that happened, and I remember I was just scrolling the one day, and I saw like
everywhere,
and I was like I had to double click on it to like make sure like I was like seeing straight because of how like many retweets and everything. I was like, oh my god. Like, and it was just such a random video. You weren't even there, right? Isn't it your friend?
No, one of my friends was there. He posted it on his Instagram story. I said, "Do you take this video?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Can I post it on the internet?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do you have a Twitter?" He goes, "No." He said, "Just post it anyways." And then I did, and it's just
That's great.
blew up.
That's great. It's funny. My friend was like, "Hey, you know that person that girl that you follow on Twitter, Gabby?" She's like, he was like, D-Book responded to that whole situation. I was like,
like he got him a jersey.
Yeah.
To the game.
I was like, you're lying, and sure as shit.
Right. It's so crazy.
But anyway, so I want to talk about your podcast because I love it. I love the whole setup of it. I think the whole doing it on Twitch is really original, and I like the whole live aspect of it. How did that come about? Because I watched an interview with you about a year ago before you had it. It was with Taylor Ringgold, I think, was the interview. And you were like, I'm talking to some companies here and there, not Barstool, they hate me, whatever. Whatever that situation is. And then you were like, I'm talking to these companies. How did that happen? Because that's huge.
Well, I was on Twitter one day and someone DM'd me and they said, "Do you want to set up a call sometime? I work for FanDuel. We can discuss some different things that we can do." And I said, "Yeah, sure, I would love to." And we did, and a couple months later, I just started doing it. Started working for them.
That's wild. That's so crazy. You got to talk to a lot of cool people these past couple of years that you've been working.
Yeah.
Is there one? I know you said that Jared was kind of a diva. But was there somebody that you were expecting to be like, "Oh, I'm so nervous. I don't know if he's gonna be mean or not," and he or she was like the nicest person ever that you just really enjoyed talking to? Was there somebody like that?
Michael Vick was really nice.
Really?
Yeah, he was really nice. The nicest person probably is Justin Jefferson. He was awesome.
Jay Jettas. Wow.
Really so nice. Everybody that I've talked to usually is like really, really kind and funny.
Yeah, I saw you were asking the walk-up songs for certain people. How did that like be the question that you wanted to do? Like were you just sitting there like thinking about ideas to ask people and that popped up? Because that's a great question. I found some of the responses like very, very interesting.
The whole event was really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything looked like really, really cool. Like from the design to the people that were there, everything seemed really cool. You have a really, really big reach when it comes to Twitter followers. I think I was like looking at like the people who follow you across all platforms. I think over half the Guardians team follows you. Have you ever? Has there any of them?
They're cool. They're cool. They're really nice.
So I take it you've got to talk to a lot of them. The one guy that I'm petitioning to get on here, and I talked to Andre Naut about it. Is Plesac. Have you ever got the chance to talk with him? Because
Zach Plesac is so nice. He's really nice.
I told my dad ever since he came into the league, because his big thing when he came in was his pickoff move. Because everybody kept talking about when he came up, oh, he got the quickest pickoff move in the league. So I think he picked off like 2 out of his first like 4 like base runners, and everybody's freaking.
He's super athletic. So.
I was looking at his stories. I think he was doing box jumps the one day, and he was getting up. I was like, That's not the type of athleticism I was expecting from Zach Plesac.
Like he had that one diving play.
Yeah.
It's like his like first start, maybe, and they're like, maybe don't do that again, but it was really good.
It was going right to second, and I remember I turned my head and I just hear Rick Manning start to freak out, and I look back on the replay and he went full Superman to get it.
Yeah, he's nice. He's very nice. He was on one of my shows like a long time ago.
Oh really?
Yesterday.
Yeah, I saw the game. Got out of that jam, thank God.
I told him, my mom always texts me about him. She's like, I love his hair. His hair is so nice. Told him. He goes, I'm a big fan of your mom. I'm like, oh my God.
That's hilarious. That's fantastic.
So funny.
I remember I saw him, the first time this year when I went to a game, and I saw like on TV how like long it got obviously over the off season, but in person it is like
he has some baseball flow.
Oh, he's got it going on with the hair, but was there a game, because you go to a lot of Guardians games obviously, was there a game this year that you were like, whoa, that like really like stood out that this team can be really good? Because I think I don't want to say underperform. I don't want to say that we're underperforming right now as a team. But with that being said, 24-25 right now, going to play the Texas Rangers tonight.
Honestly, I think it's like realistic what we're at.
I think so too.
I was expecting bad.
So was I.
Very, very bad.
I think guys like Jimenez who hit the homer yesterday are really kind of stepping up. He was a big piece in that Lindor trade. The trade that broke my heart and many others for years.
Oh, mine too.
And J-Ram is leading the league in RBIs. Do you think there's going to get to a point where he's obviously, I think his stats are going to drop a little bit, but is there a point you think teams are going to, like, in certain situations, just stop pitching completely to him? Because
Kansas City did.
I know, but that's
the first inning.
But that's because the game before, guy on second, they chose to go at him instead of Owen Miller. It didn't make any sense. It made no sense. But I just find it interesting. So, going back to you growing up and everything, was doing sports like something you always wanted to do, or did it just happen? Because obviously sports fans are from day one. It's embedded in you some way, shape, or form. So
I've played sports my whole life.
Okay.
Played sports my whole life. I've watched sports my whole life. I've been a Cleveland sports fan my whole entire life.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Listen, I'm a Guardians and Cavs fan, so I can understand 2/3 of that equation, and the other 1/3 that I can't relate to is almost.
That's the worst one. Yeah, that's the worst one.
It's almost just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk some Cleveland Browns football with you. I would be remiss if I didn't, because you have a lot of opinions that for the most part I agree with, and you said that Odell's your guy and you're thankful for what he did, with retweeting and everything. When that whole situation conspired with him and Baker, did you take? I see the eye roll. Were you like, Baker? This is Baker. He's.
Yes.
Okay, so you had no problem with what I don't want to say what Odell did. What Odell's family member did.
I don't have like no problem with it, but at the same time I'm like, I knew something was gonna happen. Like they're just not gonna continue this on like this, because we all saw it was pretty terrible. If you're wide open and he can't get the ball to you, you're gonna be upset. If he drops a pass from him, he's gonna be upset. Like it just wasn't working. Something there was not working, and I knew as soon as he was gone, I'm like, this mother F is gonna go win a Super Bowl when he leaves us. And guess what?
He did.
Damn sure did.
Yeah, I felt that I was watching the Super Bowl with a lot of I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is.
Sucky Super Bowl for a Browns fan.
Yeah, and
The Bengals are playing in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is everything you thought Baker Mayfield was gonna be, and then you have Odell.
Mm-hmm. I was sitting there and I was scrolling Twitter, and a lot of my Twitter is Cleveland orientated, and it's like, I don't even want to watch Super Bowl. Like I don't want the Bengals to win. I want Odell to win. I'm not even gonna watch. Like there's a lot of that going.
And you still watch.
And you still watch, and you still you still have your Super Bowl party. You still watch, and either way, you weren't gonna be happy with the result. But you guys might have turned it around in the offseason. We don't know yet, because
We don't know what's gonna happen.
That's the problem. There have been a lot of things that have happened in the past week with this whole situation. What if you life or death situation? You have to make a choice on how many games you think Deshaun's gonna play this year. I know it's so tough to talk about.
He's gonna play.
Yes, not sit out, to play, because I personally think it's gonna be a half season thing. I don't think it's.
I agree.
And the tough spot is if Baker comes back, and he will be.
He's not coming. He's not going to be anywhere near that facility.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely not. They're not putting him in that locker room.
I don't
I
know.
don't think there's a shot at all.
What,
They will release him before that.
I don't know. I feel like he would have been gone at this like at this point in time if he's
Nobody
not.
wants him though.
But you could have got rid of him by now. There's no point.
Nobody wants him.
But there's no.
You hold on to him if someone gets injured during the beginning of the season, training him something. He's not playing for the Browns. Like, I would bet so much money that he never takes another snap in Cleveland, Ohio, as a Browns player. Unless we get a USFL team, he's never taking another snap in Cleveland.
A USFL team. That's terrible. I can't do that. No. USFL.
Serious. He's never taking another snap playing for the Browns. Like, it's just not going to happen. They will not allow it.
Listen, I'm saying is I would not doubt if I turned on my TV week 1 and I see Baker Mayfield trotting out there with the Cleveland Browns uniform on, maybe having like a press conference the week before, like, oh, I didn't mean any of that stuff I said, by the way. I didn't.
No,
That
100% say, yeah, I meant that stuff.
Well, if he has nowhere else to play, I could see him.
He would still say it. He would be like, yeah, I still mean it.
He can't. He's not that
Yeah,
stubborn.
He is.
No.
Have you seen the things that he said and done?
I have seen the things. Yes, I get it, but I feel like there's got to be a point with everybody where you have to swallow your pride a little bit. And I
I
know.
would think.
Listen, trust me. I get it. I understand, but I don't know. Did you like the Deshaun Watson thing with everything going on? Because as a Dolphins thing, I had to swallow a lot of words after saying I would get rid of Tua in a heartbeat, even though I wouldn't. I would never say that now. But is it?
Oh, it's a lot. It's just really a lot. Like, why can't we ever have a football team that's normal?
That's.
All right, it wouldn't be Cleveland without it,
Yeah, I listen. I was in. We were
That was Cleveland.
the Dolphins were in their quote unquote sweepstakes for that situation as well, and I've never been more stressed as a Dolphins fan. In that it felt like any day something could happen, and then when it finally happened, even though he didn't go to us, which now I'm kind
Oh
of.
my God, when I read that thing, I said, this is a sick joke, isn't it? This is just a prank. Like, someone hacked his account because he's definitely not coming to Cleveland. He already said he was out.
Yeah, well, because it looked like the Falcons there for like a long time, right? And then it just 2 seconds later.
Browns, and I said, what the? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how many games do I think he would play?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say. I think he's gonna be suspended for. They'll say 8 games.
Okay.
He'll appeal. 2 will go away. They'll make the playoffs, win the first round, lose. Everyone makes fun of them.
That's a very Cleveland Browns fan perspective.
Place in AFC North.
Behind now, because this could be a couple teams. Behind who?
The Ravens.
Ooh. Okay.
It's not making the playoffs.
What? Not even making the playoffs. Explain. I'm curious.
Okay, so if Deshaun Watson plays a lot of games, because we know that he is very, very, very good at football. Very good at football. The Browns will win some games with him. There's no doubt about that. They will win some games with him. The Ravens were in first place of the AFC North with Lamar Jackson, with a team that was injured, riddled with injuries, like completely ripped apart. They had like a different running back every single week. You never knew who was going to go out there. And they were leading the AFC North for almost all the season. And then the last like 2-3 weeks of the AFC North season, it was a toss-up. You didn't know who was going to win. The Steelers could have won. The Browns could have even won. Anybody could have won within the last 2 weeks. And the Ravens are going to come back with all their players that were hurt, and they're probably going to be really good.
I think, listen, I can understand the perspective. I think the counter argument to that would be, hey, even though they address it in the offseason, there are serious concerns about the Ravens secondary. That's one. And 2, the other thing I feel would be, the Bengals addressed their biggest issue with the O-line in the offseason as well. You don't think that that's going to play dividends at all into them?
Sure, I'm sure it's going to help significantly, but I think that the Ravens are going to be better than them.
Fair enough. Hey, fair enough.
They have a better coach. Even the Bengals coach is such a fraud.
Who's Zach Taylor?
Yeah, he's a fraud.
I don't know. He came from McVay. I think he knows what he's doing. I mean, wow. Harsh on Zach Taylor.
I'm so
No love. Why? What did the Bengals do to you? You guys beat them. Like that's a one team in your division, even when you're bad, that you beat.
They are frauds. They're frauds.
So what? You had them coming in third in that division?
Fluke Super Bowl.
Fluke. Wow. Fluke. Man.
I would bet, like, if you could bet money on this, I would say.
You probably can, by the way.
Yeah, maybe. say Patrick Mahomes will win 2 more Super Bowls before the Bengals even make it back.
I don't know. I think losing Tyreek's a lot bigger of an issue than people think. And
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
And you replaced him with Juju?
That's fine. Travis Kelce is the guy.
Yeah, but the concern on defense gets shifted to him heavily now that Tyreek's gone. I don't think people are nearly as scared as Juju Smith-Schuster than Tyreek Hill. Kelsey's going to be getting double teamed every game. That's the problem because nobody's going to be scared of Juju beating them over the top.
Pro Bowl. He's going to the Pro Bowl.
Who is?
Juju. That's my hot take for the season. Juju to the Pro Bowl.
Wow, Juju to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Listen, I respect it. I respect a lot of hot takes. So I'm not gonna say anything. But like, that's wild. That's a hot take.
It would be funny.
Oh, it'd be hilarious. I couldn't wait to see Twitter the day that gets announced. Oh my God, people are gonna go.
Those fans would be sick.
Oh, they would be so. I would go on Steelers Twitter just to cause havoc, go scorched earth on Steelers fans if that happened. But do you see the Bengals coming in third in that division? Please don't tell me that you think Mitch Trubisky is going to bring them to third place and the Bengals are going to fall all the way to fourth.
No, Bengals third.
Okay. Do you think Mitch gets to start week 1? I'm curious. Do you think
I would hope.
You would hope. I think that Matt Nagy was a bigger issue than people think in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Mitch is the worst option.
I don't think so either. I think that Mitch, did a lot more than people thought because everybody kept talking about how Matt Nagy was smoke screens and all this other shit. But I don't think that he was as much of a big time player in that organization that people thought. But
I think the Steelers wasted their draft pick.
Really?
I think drafting Kenny Pickett was a waste. Why have?
You don't think that there's enough upside there that you could take a risk? I mean, I don't.
They took a risk. They got Mitch Trubisky. Why can't you get something else? The quarterbacks next season are significantly better in the draft.
I understand. I just don't know at the position that they were. I think they picked him 20 or 21.
Yeah, they drafted him because he went to Pitt.
Yeah, but at the
Dumb reason.
Well, no.
Like drafting Daniel Jones because he looks like Eli Manning. Seriously.
Dave Gettleman, what a guy. But I don't know. No, I don't think that there is anybody at that spot that they could have looked at and been like, hey, there's enough of a reason to take this guy over this guy because we have a need here that needs to be filled. I don't think that there was anybody spectacular to take there, and they said, hey, if we could try this kid out for a season, if he doesn't work, we get rid of him and we draft a quarterback the next season. I don't think that that's a bad plan, especially with a new GM who's trying to make a splash, although that was the last GM's pick. I get it. But I think that with a new GM coming in, that you want to try and give him everything that you can because the Steelers aren't an organization where, hey, I'm going to have my picks in here. No offense to the Browns organization, but I think you saw a lot of GM versus former GM going on when it comes to picks like, oh, this isn't my guy. I didn't draft him. I don't think the Steelers organization is necessarily like that. But I don't think the pick was bad. A lot of people disagree with me, you being one of them. I get it. It's a hot.
Okay.
Listen,
I hope he does well. Like I hope he has a successful career not in Pittsburgh.
I don't. I hope nobody from the Pittsburgh Steelers does well. I can't. Listen, I live in Northeast Ohio just like you, okay? I cannot stand Steelers fans. As a Dolphins...
Pretty quiet, which I appreciate.
What's up?
They've been pretty quiet lately.
Because they suck.
I know, I love it.
You can't peep when you suck, I mean...
you can. Look at the Browns.
But then people don't pay attention to you if you do it long enough. So, that's a problem. But switching from football to basketball, I want to touch each, sports team in Cleveland just because I like a lot of your takes on it. What do you think about the Cavs season? I thought that they overperformed like nobody else. Like I was expecting so little even with the signing going into the season.
Oh my God, yeah, I didn't even think that they were going to win 30. If they won 30 games, I'd say, wow, that's a big improvement.
Yeah.
They significantly improved. They're fun, a young team, and yeah, it was a really fun time watching them play this season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with the injuries, and it's even...
Yeah, the injuries sucked.
So bad. It felt like every week there was something new. And it sucks that we're not going to get Rondo back either because of other things.
Yeah, no. He's not coming back.
No, he's not. All right, we might get Ricky back. I think he'll come back.
I do too. It would be cool. I don't know if he's gonna. So like my thing with Ricky is I would love to have him back on the team.
Mm-hmm.
He played his best season ever last season, and now he's coming off an injury.
An ACL, right?
And I just don't know how that's gonna work. Like I'm not saying that he's not gonna be good. You just don't know what is going to happen. How old is he? Like 30?
He's older. I think he's like 34, 35.
Right. So there's a lot to go into it, but I would enjoy him being there.
I think he's worth enough to throw a tiny 1 year at, just to be like, hey, if you work, we'll keep giving you another 1 year until you don't work anymore. And I think he helps Garland more than people think, because Garland's passing became extremely better as soon as Ricky came into the program. And I think it was clear. I think you saw in the interviews, he's like, yeah, he goes, I had to work with Darius on, knowing where people should be in the offense from half court. Because Darius, he likes to run a lot of pressure. He likes to run a lot of transition, push the pace. He needed work in his half court offense, and I think Ricky provided that for him. So I would like to bring him back. Keeping with the Cavs, another thing that I want to talk about is, before the season, I think there were a lot of questions about what we're going to do with Sexton. And I think there's still those questions now. What do you think we should do? Because I have my own opinions on the situation, but I want to hear yours first.
I think they're going to bring him back. Like, they're going to give him some money. I don't think it's going to be as much as people thought before.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to give him something. I still think he's on, like, a prove-it kind of basis.
I think so, too.
His role is different. His role is what it should be with the team, and he has to be willing to accept that. And that's where it gets a little difficult. Because I said last season, not the one we just had, the one before that, I was like, Colin Sexton is very good, but this is not going to be his role on the team. He doesn't pass the ball. He can score. His peak is like a Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah. Yeah, I nothing wrong with that.
I'm mad about that. It's very good. Like, he's a very good basketball player.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
Darius Garland's team.
Yes.
This is Darius Garland's team. He needs to shift roles.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would be really good. And
Yeah.
It would be really beneficial to our team. That's exactly what we need.
Would you be open to trading him? If you're the GM, if you're Colby Altman right now, and you have,
Yeah.
you would, okay. Because I see a lot of Cavs fans like, we can't trade Sexton.
I don't understand that.
I don't either. I don't
I
understand.
think Colin is good. Like, it's no hate to Colin. It's just he is not one of the most significant pieces to the team.
No. And
The two significant pieces to the team are Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. Jared Allen also, yes, but he is also expendable in some kind of way.
I agree. And Colin Sexton was, let's be honest, that was a pick a while ago to try and keep LeBron there, because that's the only guy in the draft that he said he wanted all those years ago.
And then he said, see ya.
Yeah, and then he said, I'm going to go to LA and win a championship and then be miserable after that championship. But I think the Cavs are interesting. I do. I also think it's a robbery that Evan Mobley didn't win Rookie of the Year. I thought that I was genuinely shocked when I saw that he lost. I thought it was a very clear and concise win for him. I don't understand how you could give it to anybody else, especially Scotty. But listen, I'm not gonna go.
The Raptors, though, that was an insane pick.
I bashed him on it.
Everybody did. Everybody did.
I thought it was a terrible pick. I was dead wrong, but I thought it was a terrible pick.
Most everybody was wrong. So
it's the whole Patrick was it Patrick Stewart? Not Patrick Stewart. The guy from the Bulls. I forget. They drafted him a few years ago. I saw Kenny reacted to it. He hated it, but it's a whole same situation. But before I go, I just want to ask you. I like to ask everybody one question before I leave. It's kind of my thing. If you could ask or give one piece of advice to people who are trying to do what you're doing right now, whether it's being on podcasts or expanding your horizons on Twitter and social media, what piece of advice would you give them?
Okay. So I know we all get a lot of haters.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are mean, and a lot of people have a lot of shit they say. But as long as you're having a good time and you're having fun, keep doing what you're doing, because those people are miserable.
Mm-hmm.
They're jealous of what you're doing, and if you're having fun, someone's always going to be mad at you, so you might as well have more fun than they are.
Awesome. I couldn't agree with you more. Gabby, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. Thank you.